I'm Sheila Long O'Mara, Executive Editor with Furniture Today. Welcome to our news desk live from Las Vegas Market. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Sheila.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. That's hot, but wonderful.
It is hot.
Hot, but wonderful.
So our guest today is Frank Hood, President and CEO of Kingsdown. It is hot, but I hear you have a cool showroom.
Thank you for the segue. Actually, we do. We're all waiting with bated breath. Hopefully this market will be well attended. We've got a good set of clients and customers coming to our space. We've launched, we take every opportunity. Since we've made this investment in this market, we take every opportunity to make it fresh and new every time. So our calendar is kind of full. We're hopefully everybody's going to show up. We think that they will. But when you look at our product set, we're addressing every, post this COVID time frame, all these challenges that we've had in the marketplace with the consumer. We filled in the gaps that we felt like we were lacking last market. So please come take a look at our showroom.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the economy right now. The industry's slow. Everybody's talking about it, concerned about, where the consumer's head is. What are you seeing as far as the economy and where we're headed for the rest of the year?
Well, I will say this. A couple things I'm happy about. I'm happy that we don't see an escalation in raw materials like we did before. So that's been somewhat abated, or at least certainly been isolated to not necessarily happen like it was happening before. With additional capacity in our raw material and our vendors comes maybe a little more opportunity for us to get the products that we ultimately wanted. So I guess in that respect it's good. I will say also that it's true that inflation has abated somewhat. Now we and many of our contemporaries had to increase wages, needed to increase wages, obviously, to combat inflation, the pressures that our sales team, our operations team were having, heck, everybody was having. But and that's going to be something that we're going to pay for years to come. But I will say this is that our average unit selling price hasn't depreciated markedly, maybe 4%. So I can say that with same store sales being slightly down, depending which customer you might look at. We've had the advantage, and I'm sure many of my contemporaries have had the advantage to add more customers, right? Add more doors, because there's a lot of flux in the industry, as you know. So we've been able to grow, thankfully. However, I would say our consumers are still challenged, right? Our consumers are still trying to figure out how to buy bread, how to buy milk, how to buy eggs, right? Gas. It's going to look back up. I hope that'll abate come the fall, hopefully a little bit. Travel is up. We see travel up. We were just traveling ourselves personally, and the airports are full. People are using some of that discretionary income to travel. But still, the good news is people are still sleeping. I will say, when we see people come in the door, we're hearing this from retailers, they're coming in the door, they're generally going to buy something. So conversion is still holding. I'll say back to inflation. Inflation's abated somewhat. Talking to a lot of analysts, having access to a lot of analysts and a lot of this analytical community, we're seeing many analysts now revise estimates with respect to a recession, by definition of recession, to be much less of a recession, if at all, and it being pushed farther and farther into fourth quarter, maybe to the end of fourth quarter, and maybe even at some de minimis amount first quarter of next year. So I'm kind of encouraged by the fact that as consumers and as, frankly, people in the financial world, we're all almost building in the potential for that slight recession, and we've absorbed it already, right? So we're hopeful that it's not going to be materially affecting in any way the industry going forward. We do want people to start coming back into the marketplace, right? And we are seeing that happen now through omni-channel and other venues. But look, it's still a difficult time, and we're all trying to work toward it.
So you said an interesting thing, that when consumers come into the stores, they're buying, they're making a purchase. So advertising, how do we get them in? How do we get consumers into sleep stores? How do we get them into furniture stores?
It's a great point. Look, we've had the benefit of working with Furniture Today and this most recently this bedding conference, and we had a chance to, as the whole community of the audience, you organized this panel where we were able to listen to what our very large competitor Tempur Sealy is doing. And one of the key strategies they saw, and I don't think they relegated themselves just to what they do, is that retailers are having to advertise more. Manufacturers are having to promote more, right? So I think it's a little bit back to what we saw in 2019, short of the inflation, right? It's coming back to, if you will, a normal. But we also know that while things are trying to revert back to that normal, you're still blocking, you're still tackling, you're still doing all the things necessary to get that customer to come in your door. And when they come in the door, we joked about it, you want to lock the door behind them and not let them leave. But when they do come through that door, you want to make a compelling value proposition. You want to show them value, but you also want to show them an aspirational opportunity to buy and stay and keep buying up. And that's what we're doing. And I think if you come to our showroom, you'll see that. But look, you'll go to many other showrooms and you'll likely see the same strategy, because retailers need to hold that customer as high into that purchase strata as they possibly can, or that price strata as they possibly can.
Absolutely. So we're getting the high sign that we're out of town. Thanks for joining me. Have a good market, and I'll see you showroom soon.
See you. Thanks.
Again, I'm Sheila Long O'Mara. Thanks for tuning in.